you know what, my friends? I am going to get started because I have a lot to say today. And then I'm not doing a card sketch, I'm doing a real card. Okay, I'm going to share a secret. I'm kind of nervous about it. It's been a long time since I've done a card like all the way through. So you guys will have to let me know how I did. Okay, guys, I can finally show you the catalog is live. I can finally show you my, maybe I can, my $1 million set. It's called Layered Thoughts. And I am sure it's on page 34 in the annual catalog. I am sure that when you guys saw this set, you were like, oh my goodness, that does not look like Barb at all. Okay, you know me. It's not going to be super difficult because I don't do those, but hopefully you'll like it. So to go back to my set, a lot of you, I'm sure, said, it's not bees, it's not coffee. No, because when I designed my set, which was over 1.5 years ago now, I think. It's been a long time. We had new bee sets, which you've now seen, that beautiful bee paper, the cute bee paper in the scrapbooking section. And we have had a couple of coffee sets that were adorable. So at the time, I had to come up with something different. So the artist, that Stampin' Up! Artist that was helping me said, what speaks to you? What is your favorite part about what you do? And I said, what speaks to me is that anybody can make a quick and easy card and send it to someone and create that connection. Because I think since the internet, and definitely since COVID, sometimes we lose connection with those people that we know and love. And I was just saying to Betsy, Ann Hill, if you're on here, Ann Hill sent me a birthday card, and she said hello to my sister. She's the one that used to send a card almost every other week to my mom, and it meant the world to my mom. I didn't even do that. And I said to my sister, you know, it is so nice to get something in the mail that's not a bill, and you know that somebody's thinking about you. That's why I love card making, more than the creativity, more than making something with my own hands. It's knowing that the end result of what I make is connecting with someone, is making someone know that I was thinking about them. And honestly, I need to do it a heck of a lot more than I do now. I really do. I'm not very good about it right now. So when we were doing my sets, I said, you know, what I really love is when there's a big, bold sentiment. I can pair it with a designer paper, and then from the designer paper, I can get my colors. So I can make a card in like under 5 minutes. And if someone has never made a card before, I could show them how to do that, and it will be really quick and easy for them, and they'll have an instant win, which is so me. I like instant wins. So this set was born, and I wanted something that would work for a guy. And I think all of these brush strokes work really well for guys in our lives. And then I wanted something a little frilly. So with the smaller stamp that can go with it, so you can create love you, happy birthday to you, thinking of you, thank you. I wanted that to be a little bit more frilly. So that's where I came up with this set. Okay, this is actually such an easy set to use. So let me switch my camera over. Okay, I need to make sure that my trimmer will fit, and I think it will. So, okay, so I think we're at a good height right now. Let me bring out what I need. I brought out my silicone mat because I'm going to be using a ton of glue. And I don't know how familiar you guys are with the silicone mat, but you can get glue on your silicone mat, and it will it's great because the glue won't stick to it. So here's everything that I'm using. I'm using a 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2 piece of pumpkin pie. Remember that all these instructions will be in the, gosh, I've got that. Let me see if I can get this over a little bit more so the sunshine isn't there. I can't. My camera doesn't reach far enough. Hi, Elaine. Do you know that when I pull out my silicone mat, I always think of you because I know that you love the silicone mat. It makes me so happy. And then I'm going to be using the party dots, white cardstock. I'm using peach pie cardstock. So the very first thing that I'm going to do is this is actually a fun fold card. So what I'm going to do is I wanted to show you this on camera because it's super easy, but some people have trouble with it. So I'm going to bring out my paper trimmer. And the score line is right here. And I put a little dot here. I normally don't do that, but I put a little dot here because I wanted you to be able to see it on camera, which I think you can. Okay, so what I'm going to do, this is the cutting track straight down here, right, on our trimmer. So you're going to put this on the cutting track, and then you're going to bring, I kind of have to do it 3 or 4 times because I'm, straight line impaired, but I'm going to put this end on the cutting track, and then this little dot indicates the score line. And I know you can't see that score line, but this little dot is right on the score line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the trimmer in place. I'm actually going to move my blade. This is the score. Oh, you can't see it. Okay. I'm just going to cut straight down, pull off that triangle, use it on another card. And now I have the card base that looks like that. Remember, on our trimmer, the light blade is the scoring blade and the dark blade is the cutting blade. Okay, so let me get that out of the way. And then you're definitely going to need a bone folder. So what I'm going to do, this is why I cut it before I score it, because sometimes I do it backwards. You guys know me. I do that. Joan, if you don't have the silicone mat, you have to get it, my friend. It really makes it easier when you glue things. And then I'm just going to fold it down. I could also do it the other way, but I kind of like it this way. And I'm just going to use my bone folder to give it a good, strong crease. That's really important. And because, guys, I have arthritis in my hands, I'm going to do it. I'm going to fold it over and do it on the other side because I have trouble getting a good, tight score. Okay, so then what I did, I just want to show you this. I had a piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 of the designer paper. This is the really pretty Floral Delight designer paper. You guys, it's already on low inventory. So if you like this paper, scarf it up now. You can see this is the other side of a different piece. It's just so pretty. I love this paper. So definitely get some soon if you like this paper. And this is why I have the mat, the silicone mat, because I'm going to make a mess. I'm just going to tell you that right now. So once I've cut this in half, it is the same size. I cut it diagonally in half is probably a better way to say that. So what I'm going to do is using my silicone mat, because I want to get glue right in the corners. That's very important. It's also important if your glue gets started. Let's try that again. There we go. Nope. Okay, hold on, friends. My glue is not cooperating. The glue wasn't coming out, and then, of course, it came out in huge gulps. I love the mono-adhesive liquid glue because, as you guys know, I am straight line impaired, so this allows me to move it around. Ooh, and even with the mat, I got glue on my thingamajigger, my technical term for my desk. Okay, let's try this again. I'm going to try to stay in camera range. And then I'm just going to add this on. There. Good. Perfect. Perfection. Okay, there we go. See? Now, one thing I want to say on this card is the first time you make this card, I really recommend that you use a paper that's non-directional. It doesn't matter which way this paper goes, it's all going to look the same. But if you had straight lines, you'd want to make sure that you cut it so that it went the way you wanted to. If you're a perfectionist, you guys know I am not, you can go in and trim off this extra paper, because I know for some of you, that's going to bug the bejesus out of you. Doesn't bother me at all. Okay, then what you've got is we've got a 3 by 8.5 piece of peach pie. I scored it at 4 1/4. Again, this is all on the directions. And then we're going to do something different, because normally your card opens this way, right? But in this case, it's going to open this way. So I'm going to go ahead and put my white paper right here to remind me that it does that, because I tend to always do things backwards. So let me do that. And in this case, backwards is the right way. I'm just going to put that right in here. That's where we'll write our sentiment, or, you know, whatever we want to do. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to put glue on the back of this. But before I do that, I'm going to do what's going to be our front. Well, maybe I will. I'll show you. I have never done it this way. Let's see if it works. So I'm just going to put glue all over. And then I want to be very careful, because what I want to do is put it so that this can fold over it, which is again why I wanted to use the liquid glue. Did you see what I did there, guys? So that it opens like a flip-flap. So by, and honestly, it's not quite over enough. Let's see if I can do that without showing a lot of glue. We'll see. Nope, I'm going to have to leave it there. I wanted it over about another 1/4 inch. And you want to make sure that it's straight. Why, oh, why am I straight line impaired? Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and glue on. Do I want to do that first? No, I think I'll do that second. Okay, so I'm going to bring out my sentiment. Woohoo! I'm going to use the happy birthday, and I'm going to use peach pie ink, which I just re-inked. So everybody cross their fingers that I don't make a mess here. I decided to go with peach pie instead of pumpkin pie because I wanted it just a little bit lighter. And this stamp is really bold. Oh, I don't know that I have enough on there. Let me do just a little bit more. I love the brushstroke look, but more than that, I love that if you don't get it on straight, it doesn't matter. That was a big priority for me. There we go. You can see I missed a little bit. Should I do it again? Yeah, because you know what? I want to show off this beautiful stamp. Let me put a little bit more ink on there. I was being very gentle because I just re-inked this. So now let me give you a little hint about this stamp set. If you find that this stamp set is not starting to stick to your blocks, it's because the brushstroke part of this really grabs a lot of ink, normally. There we go. And the best thing you can do for this is to make sure that your blocks and your stamp is clean. So what you do is you just take it to the sink, take some Dawn detergent, Dawn's the best, and then, in my opinion, just my opinion, and then just rub soap over it and then rinse it real good and put it aside to dry. And that will, if you ever have problems with your blocks and photopolymer stamps, it'll take care of your problem right away. Okay. So now I'm going to try to get this centered. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this to the front of our peach pie cardstock. And now we're just going to put that on there and let it sit for just a minute. Make sure it's straight as possible. Okay, so let me show you the finished card. When you mail out the card, it's going to look like this. Oh, thank you, Michelle, for giving me focus time. I need it, obviously. Thank you, Cindy. Okay, and then it just opens like this. So it's a very easy fun fold. Just remember that your fold has to go on the opposite side of where your flap is. So Noran was asking earlier, could it go this way? Yes, just then your flap would be on the opposite side. Did that make sense? I hope that made sense. Oh, I'm glad you liked it, Joan. Oh, thank you, Michelle. You know, I have to be honest, even though I love bees, yellow is not my favorite color. But I love peach pie, and so I decided to go with that today because I think it really shows that this particular, and hang on because I have more cards to show you, by the way, but I think on this card, it looks really cool. So I'm bringing out the party dots because in the party dots, there are peach pie dots, which you can see I use a lot. Where do I want to put these? You know me, I always struggle with that. We want to do it in a triangle. I'm going to put it right here, I think. Let's bring it down so it's not perpendicular to that H. And then I'm going to put one right here. And then I want to put a little teeny weeny one right here. And if you're not familiar with this tool, if you've watched any of my videos, you are really familiar with this tool. This is the Take Your Pick tool. It's got a little bit of gum on the end, and it will pick up your gems really nicely. Okay, so there we have our card, guys. What do you think? So much fun. I love this. Now, hang on. I couldn't just show you one card with this set. And all of these will eventually be on my blog. So this one is made with the new Sunrise Sailing embossing folder. And it looks like I did this on silver foil, which it is. But do you see this background here? That's already in the silver paper. It's a brand new foil paper that we carry. But look, these little hexagons are already on there. Isn't that cool? That made it easy. So I just had to emboss it with this embossing folder. And then I did Smoky Slate ink and black. Nope, Secret Sea. Sorry, this is Secret Sea cardstock, which is a really, really, really dark navy blue. Really dark. I always think I used black, but I didn't. And when you put it up against black, the blue comes through, the blue tone. So isn't that fun? That's such a beautiful embossing folder. Then we have one of our old stamp sets. I like to call this Tool Time. Great card for Guy. You can see how this sentiment is perfect for guys. And I just used some Country Woods designer paper. Thank you, Michelle. I like that one too. And then I decided to do it in bright green. Bright orange would have worked too because of tools out there with the orange, but I decided to go with green. So that was a fun one. Remember, all of these eventually will be on my blog so you can get the complete instructions. This one I used an arched, what are the arched dies? And this is new paper. For the life of me, can't remember what it's called, but it's a brand new paper. And then I just did the Love You. You can see that when you use the over, you don't have to, but I think it looks better. This is just me personally. I like it when you do the smaller stamp in a darker color. So if you wanted to, you could stamp this off and then do that full strength and you'd get the same effect. Okay, I got some more. This is probably the favorite card I did because this is how I envisioned this stamp set. It's just a very simple card. This is how I envisioned it. Cardstock, designer paper, and your ink and your sentiment pulled from the paper. This is exactly what I envisioned with this stamp set. So if you're ever at a loss, just pull out one of the card sketches that we've done for the last 47 times and use this because it's super simple. And then I probably shouldn't be showing this because I'm not supposed to make it public yet. But our team, the BZB Stampers, we do a swap every new catalog. And this was my swap card. Again, I'm using Cloud Cover. I'm using, not Cloud Cover, Secret Sea, sorry. Still learning the new ink colors. And this beautiful paper. And then the arch dies again. And then I'm just using Summer Splash because, as most of you know, I love, love, love this color. So, oh, do you, Cindy? Cindy says she likes this one. The reason that makes me so happy, Cindy, is this is exactly what I envisioned with this stamp set. Exactly, exactly, exactly. Okay, my friends, there we have all the cards. We got a bunch here. I will be making a lot more. They're going to all be on my blog, so you can check it out there. Let me go back. I'm going to have a camera in my face, so give me just 1 second. Lift this up so you don't have to look at that. Ooh, and I almost lost my phone. That would not have been good. So there we have it, my friends. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for joining me live today. I so appreciate each and every one of you. If you are catching the replay, let me know that you were here on the replay. And I talked so much today, but I'm so glad that you enjoyed today's cards. All right, guys, love you. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you next week. Oh, I'll be back on Sunday with a Step It Up stamping that I know you're really going to like. I know it. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.